In this video, I'm going to share how you can automate part of your business when it comes to accounts payable. And I'm going to show you some of the details that's needed for this client that we just created. There's a bunch of different automations we can do. I think a lot of people get scared when they talk about AI and automations for two reasons. Number one, they don't really know what they can automate. They have no idea, as this client had no idea that we're going to automate accounts payable for them, because they have two people working on accounts payable and I want them both focused. The company wants those two people focus on accounts receivable for obvious reasons. So a lot of people don't even know that you can automate. And the second thing that people get a little nervous about when it comes to automation is the fact that, you don't trust it. So in that situation, we do something called the human in the loop, which is where the first several automations, could be 100, could be 200 iterations or workflows that happen, there's a human that has to approve of the final result, of the output. But once we get to 100 and 200 and the team sees, oh my goodness, this is exactly what we need. And this goes for any automation. And there's literally thousands of them that we can do for companies. But I want to share this one with you guys so you can kind of see how this works. So for example, in this case, this client wanted to automate their accounts payable. So the first thing that needs to be done is we needed to learn the exact process that they do to facilitate accounts payable. And they get a ton of these a month. It's a very large business. So let me kind of walk you through what we did with them. So first thing we did with them, we asked them, okay, let's talk about what you guys are doing and what you guys want. And we had three people on the call, the CEO and the CFO, and I can't remember who else. I think it was the CIO. I can't remember who else it was. But the point is that we had these three people on the call, and we ended up coming up with about 7 different automations. It's going to save them between $500,000 to $1 million a year by implementing these automations. So you can understand how that's a very important thing for that company to consider, and for all companies to consider, because if you're not implementing AI automations, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to compete as you go down the road. So I want to talk to you guys about this very simple automation that we created for them. This is a flow chart of that, and I'm going to walk you through the exact steps that we do, that we're going to do for these guys. So the first thing is we want to know, okay, well, what exactly happens when you get an invoice? So the invoice comes in via email, and it's a PDF, obviously, invoice. And then we use N8N, which is one of the systems that we use. And there's a trigger that we look for with N8N. Now, in this case, because they are using Dynamics 365, there's no native integration that we can use. So we have to run a Python script that we custom code for them. And I want to talk to you about this as well, because a lot of companies are trying to use, out of the box or on the shelf automations, and it really doesn't work in most cases. Sometimes it does. It's a simple automation, but a lot of times it doesn't. And so that's why sometimes you need some custom coding, in this case a Python script, to get the information from the PDF and then integrate that with Dynamics 365 in this particular case. So we run the Python script, and then we parse the PDF with Google OCR, and that's just a way to read the information from the PDF, because every invoice is going to be different, obviously, from different companies and different vendors. So we have to normalize that information, and that's how we use a Google OCR. There's a bunch of different OCRs. You can use Maestro. There's a bunch of them, but in this case, we're going to use Google OCR. We extract the invoice data, and then again, just to call Dynamics 365 with an API call, and that's really how you get tools talking to each other. You use API calls to do so, and there's documentation on each website of each business and each tool that you can find that. For example, if I want to find out Dynamics 365, I would just type in their API. I would just type in Dynamics 365 API documentation on Google, for example, and I'll have all the information I need in order to do this. Okay, so then we fetch the purchase order with that, compare purchase order and invoice, and then if there's a match, then we insert invoice into Dynamics, the ERP, and then we send invoice the notification, or we can log the result. If there's no match, then there's an error notification, and that goes through our system. But it just gives you a high level an idea of exactly how this can work and how this can save a client, like our clients, a lot of money, because now they're having all these people, in this case 2 people doing this. Now they can have one person doing this and eventually no one doing it. So those people can focus on more important things in the business. The last thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to AI and automations Number one, you have to do custom a lot of times for it to work properly. Number two, you have to have a team that manages it. We do that for our clients. And number three, a lot of people don't want to do AI automations because they're scared they have to implement all these new different systems. You can see here, we haven't changed anything that what they're doing. They're still using Dynamics 365. We're not changing anything. We're just removing the employees that were doing that, and they can do other jobs in the company or move on to another company. But we're not actually changing anything. And a lot of companies that we speak with are nervous about that. I don't want to change our CRM. I don't want to change our ERP. We don't change any of that. We use what you have that's existing. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.